Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The movie begins today in the river, where a person is unconscious in the water. However, there's a strange device above his head, and this device is called the red drone. The red drone tries to send signals to wake the person up, but he can't regain consciousness. Instead, he starts seeing visions of past events with a little girl and a young woman. He stays in this state for 10 minutes until he floats to the surface of the water. The red drone appears above his head again, sending a white light into him, and suddenly, he's wide awake. The man's name is Ezra. He steps out of the water onto land, confused about where he is and how he got there. Suddenly, the device on his head starts talking and shows him images of the girl and woman he saw in the water. They are his wife, Linda, and his daughter, and that there was a war on the planet where all humans were lost. At that moment, the red drone disappears, leaving Ezra unsure of what to do next. But suddenly, Ezra hears a voice coming from afar. It's another person emerging from the water, also with the red drone on their head. This person's name is Abram. He quickly climbs out of the water, and they both hear another sound. A girl also emerging from the water, experiencing the same thing that happened to Ezra and Abram. Her name is Fina. The three of them introduce themselves and try to figure out what to do next, as none of them have any clear idea of what's going on. They begin walking together and soon discover the wreckage of a spaceship and destroyed towers. Each one of them recalls different memories, but they all share one common memory, that Earth was invaded, and they were fighting this invasion. However, Fina's memories are the most scrambled and unclear. They continue walking until they encounter another device, similar to the one they had in the water. Fina asks the device about their current location. The red drone responds, revealing that they are there because they all died during the invasion, but each one died at a different time. This explains why they have different memories. The invasion ended 4,000 years ago, and since then, there has been no life on Earth. They were revived using regenerative cells, and they aren't the only ones brought back. Many others were too. The drone informs them that it will guide them to a settlement. Ezra's first question is about his wife, Linda, and daughter, but the red drone doesn't provide an answer. It doesn't have any information on whether they were also revived using the cells. Meanwhile, a figure, cloaked from head to toe, watches them from afar. The drone instructs them to collect green objects that have appeared on Earth as they serve as an antidote, and to gather the white light above the water, which will grant them immense power. The drone then asks them to follow it. While they're walking, each one starts sharing how they died during the invasion. Abram begins, explaining that he wasn't always this young. He was over 65 years old at the time, celebrating his granddaughter's birthday when the invasion began. As Ezra shares his story, we flash back to him being with his wife and daughter when the invasion hit them suddenly. However, Fina refuses to talk about her experience, as her memories still haven't fully returned. They continue walking until they come across large pillars with strange symbols on them. Abram reaches out and touches one of the symbols, and suddenly, something strange happens. He's on the verge of fainting. Just then, the masked figure who had been watching them earlier appears and shoots at them with a strange-looking gun. The bullet hits Abram, but Ezra quickly pulls him away and attempts to escape. They both run, trying to outrun the masked figure. At the same time, the red drone that was guiding them loses its signal, leaving them in a desperate situation. As they run, the masked figure continues chasing them. Ezra, using his quick thinking, manages to knock the masked figure down and grabs the strange gun from him. When he demands to know who this person is, the figure refuses to answer, only saying that the drones are lying to them, and there's no settlement or other world. There's nothing left. Ezra drags the masked figure back toward the pillars, but as they stand there, a strange red light glows behind them. Ezra tries to ignore it, focusing on the symbols. He asks Abram how he felt when he touched the symbols. Abram replies that he felt like he was floating in space, sensing the vastness of the entire universe. At that moment, the masked figure escapes from Ezra's grasp. Now we learn that his name is Jax. He picks up his gun, aiming it toward them. But Fina, showing quick wit, pulls out another gun she had hidden. Jax mocks her, saying she won't be able to figure out how to use it, believing her mind is too simple to understand the technology. However, Fina proves him wrong and shows that she can indeed operate the gun. Jax throws his gun to the ground, grabs Ezra again, and restrains him. After that, they leave Jax lying on the ground. At this moment, Jax tells Ezra that he can take him to his brother. Ezra suddenly remembers his brother, Silas, and starts questioning Jax if he really knows him. However, Jax just laughs and refuses to answer again. Meanwhile, Abram notices the wound on his shoulder and tells Ezra that they need to leave. The three of them continue on their way until they find a cave. They go inside to rest, and Ezra suggests they stay there until morning to continue searching for the settlement. However, Abram appears very weak, and they don't know what to do for him. He tells them that he'll be fine if he just sleeps, but unfortunately, his condition worsens during the night. Ezra spots a pool of water inside the cave and decides to place the white light they had collected from the river into it. They put Abram into the water with the light, and within a few hours he recovers completely. While Fina stands nearby, Ezra walks up to her and asks why the drones chose them specifically, even though there were probably stronger and better people in the world. Ezra responds by saying there must be a reason for bringing them back to life and restoring their memories. Afterwards, the three of them resume their journey. Along the way, they spot a closed-off area that they believe must be the settlement. Excited, they rush toward it. However, Jax appears again, this time with another masked figure. Abram and Fina manage to reach the settlement and start banging on the door, desperate for entry. Suddenly, a yellow drone, similar to the red one that brought them out of the water, emerges from the settlement. It quickly flies up and shines a blue light on the two masked figures chasing them. The yellow drone then hurries to help Ezra as well. At that moment, the masked figure removes his mask, revealing that he is none other than Silas, Ezra's brother. Ezra is shocked, believing Silas must have been brought back to life the same way he was. He approaches Silas to speak with him, but suddenly, Silas pulls out a chip and tries to insert it into Ezra's neck, intending to turn his neck red like theirs. Here, even after extinction and the loss of life, those who were resurrected were divided into two groups, those aligned with the red chip and those with the drone. Just as Silas tries to implant the chip, the drone intervenes, pulling Ezra away and taking him to the settlement. Upon entering, Ezra notices a bracelet lying on the ground, and in that moment, he flashes back to a memory where he recognizes that the bracelet is similar to one his mother used to wear. He snaps back to reality, and the drone hands him a pair of goggles, allowing him to see Settlement 134, a place that looks like a vast graveyard. The drone explains that these graveyards are the remains of old settlements. Ezra quickly descends, feeling the urge to leave the place. But as he stands at the door, he is flooded with hazy memories. At the same time, Jax and Silas chasing someone else. They track this person down, and when Jax looks at the person's back, he realizes that the red flash drive embedded there has disappeared. Jax becomes anxious, realizing that without the drive, the person is no longer under their control. Back at the settlement, the yellow drone starts speaking to Ezra, Abram, and Fina, explaining that they must retrieve a white-soaking solution from the lake. Without it, they won't be able to survive for long, and it is crucial for their health. Ezra then asks about the people chasing them, and the drone explains that the beings who created the drones and revived humanity also revived those individuals. However, one of them stole a red beam powder and placed it in capsules that were then implanted into people, making them resistant to the drone's control. The drone further reveals that Jax, Silas, and their group are considered rebels and have been exiled from the settlement. She also shares that many of the revived people before them died from rapidly spreading diseases, and the scarcity of the white powder has made survival difficult. Because of this, only a select few are now chosen to be brought back to life. Silas stands with Jax, reminiscing about his past and his brother Ezra. They observe the closed gate of the colony, where Jax suggests getting closer to Ezra by controlling him. Silas reminds him that Ezra won't be his brother unless he becomes one of them. Meanwhile, Ezra, Abram, and Fina are still in the colony. Ezra decides to venture out for the white serum, leaving Fina behind since she is too weak. Feeling useless, Fina retrieves the damaged red drone to try and fix it. As Ezra and Abram search through the forest with the yellow drone, Fina manages to partially repair the red drone but gets weak and starts bleeding. Suddenly, the yellow drone warns Abram and Ezra of incoming pursuers before disappearing. In the colony, Fina sees the ghost of Linda, Ezra's wife, who comforts her and helps her wash her face. Back in the forest, Ezra reflects on previous battles against aliens, recalling the time he fought while Trina escaped with his wife and daughter, only to lose Silas. Meanwhile, Linda continues to assist Fina in fixing the red drone, while Ezra and Abram search for the serum to return to the colony. In this part of the story, Ezra and Abram are confronted by Jax and Silas, leading to a tense confrontation. Abram manages to escape, but Ezra is captured. As Silas prepares to use the red flash drive on Ezra, he reveals that it gave him power, but Ezra resists, insisting he didn't choose this path. This frustrates Silas, who feels his power is being questioned. Meanwhile, Ezra breaks free and reunites with Abram. They head back to the lake to collect the green substance, which is their serum. Back in the colony, Fina recalls the traumatic memories of the invasion and the loss of her loved one. She wakes up to find Abram beside her, who gives her the antidote to recover her strength. The next day, Fina wakes Abram, who finds Ezra training hard and searching for supplies in the colony. Abram provides Ezra with more serum, and they discuss their situation. Ezra expresses doubts, feeling like everything is just a dream, but Abram reassures him of their reality. Abram then follows the yellow drone into a strange area with closed windows and strange symbols. Determined to understand, he decides to decipher the symbols to uncover their meaning. In this section, Fina is conversing with the red drone, seeking its assistance and revealing her background as a skilled inventor. She explains that the government imprisoned her for her weapon designs, which explains her expertise in fixing the drone on her own. Ezra enters and gives Fina a bracelet he found, noting that the symbol on it resembles one he saw at his grandmother's house and matches the markings on the tall columns that Abram touched earlier. As they investigate, Abram says that he discovered a locked door beneath the colony inscribed with ancient Greek letters. They seek answers but receive no response from the yellow drone. Meanwhile, Silas interrogates the individual who lost the red light, trying to figure out how it vanished. Abram, Fina, and Ezra manage to open the locked door and find it filled with Greek inscriptions. Abram, having attended language schools, begins to translate the symbols. He identifies a particular mark that represents opening doors to a new life. When he touches it again, he experiences the same disorienting sensation he felt with the columns. Ezra and Fina pull him back, questioning what he felt. They deduce that a powerful force is controlling the events and resurrecting individuals. Abram decides to venture into the forest for further understanding, and he encourages Ezra and Fina to stay behind. In the forest, Jax and Silas train with the others to gain control over the red power from the flash drive, which binds them together. Meanwhile, Abram and Fina work on deciphering the symbols until they make progress. Fina then focuses on repairing the red drone, asking it to project an image of Linda once more. Fina and Linda share a heartfelt conversation where Linda reveals her struggles in the afterlife and her inability to continue in the second chance she had. Meanwhile, Silas observes a red light emitting from a person, checking to see if they will reconnect. In the forest, Ezra discovers a Greek-like symbol on the ground and decides to dig beneath it. Abram, in the chamber under the colony, works on translating more inscriptions on the walls. He realizes that if they gather 4 light collectors, they can bring anyone back to life. While digging, Ezra finds one of the light collectors. The yellow drone informs him of its significance, urging him to return quickly. However, before he leaves, Jax and his group, armed with red light, confront Ezra to take the collector. The yellow drone swiftly incapacitates them with a tranquilizer dart, allowing Ezra to escape and inform Abram about his discovery. Abram expresses excitement, stating that with 3 more collectors, they can resurrect anyone they choose. He explains that their purpose in returning these individuals is to prepare for a confrontation with the red light entities and to establish a new life. As Fina tries to sleep, she remembers how the drone had helped her before the invasion, prompting her to wake suddenly when she sees a light collector glowing red and open nearby. The first season ends. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button to get more new videos. See ya!